Hello. Happy Saturday. Thought I would catch up a little bit. Um, for anybody that's been watching, uh, I haven't done a live since last week. Not that I ever really do it that often, but I kind of left a cliffhanger as to what all I was working on. If you'll remember, I changed some windshield wipers and some silly stuff on the Trans Am over there. I wound up changing the windshield wipers on this Yukon, which I don't know why the quote unquote good windshield wipers, um, they kind of stink. I don't know if you noticed this big hump in the middle. Um, it, it looks great in the packaging, but when you put it on, you got these two giant humps there. If I had it to do it again, I would do something a little more traditional, but they work. They're good wipers, and on this car, I don't really care that much. Um, hey, how's it going, Jamie and Deborah? Good to see you. I was just giving a catch up on all the things I talked about working on this Yukon. Last last stream, I was talking about changing the shocks and struts on it, and I, as I'm enjoying doing live streaming, I keep trying to think, okay, well, what do people want to hear me yammer? I could sit and stare at the screen and oh, thanks, yeah, we like it too. That's a kind of maroon burgundy color. But I sit and think about what do people want to listen to my political opinions? This kind of started talking about uh, the movement and all that kind of stuff, and I'm still very very deeply concerned with that, and I'm a founding member, and until Mag Americans tells me different, I'm going to claim that I was the first one. but so that's a big deal. But as we all know, there's not a whole lot to talk about. I could comment and maybe I will, but um, when I'm thinking about what am I going to live stream about, everybody knows me for the car, really. So I thought, well, I always have stuff I need to do on my car, so maybe I'll come out and comment while I'm working on the cars and talk. But I've found that I guess I'm not good at multitasking. I can't really talk and work at the same time because my I don't have enough brain processing power. Teal. Oh, the GMC truck. Yeah, that's a 1963 GMC truck. Yeah, um, my favorite color is blue. And when I saw this, I usually like a darker blue, but I thought this one looked really good. It was a good paint job. There's other things that need to be done to it, but yeah, it's got a pretty good paint job, so I liked that. With the white, they did a good job on it. People I bought it from, so thanks. Yeah, I do like that. Yeah. I bought one of these things. I don't know if you saw some of my previous streams. This thing, when I put my phone on there, it actually follows me, and so that thing has worked out. It's on this little cheapy tripod, but that thing's actually worked out really well, and I'll put the phone on there here in just a minute. But like I said, talking and working, I don't do well at the same time. So it's not holding the phone. It's my brain can't operate my mouth. It's lucky I can even walk and talk at the same time. But anyway, just to catch up on what I was doing before, I said I was going to do shocks and struts on this thing, and I didn't really film any of it because I discovered, when I'm changing windshield wipers, if I'm not talking, it's got to be excruciatingly boring. And so I just cut it off and just started working. So so I did. I'll talk through the story of what happened, but I did wind up changing the rear shocks. I'm not a multitasker either. Yeah, some things I can do at the same time, but some things I just can't. Right. So, and I still need to do the front. But let me put this up here so I can I can point the camera at myself. Let me turn this thing on. I should probably put the phone on there first. Okay. Now where's it going? Okay, let's see if this thing will work here. Okay, yeah, so that thing does a pretty good job following me around. But anyway, I don't normally. I hate getting old, and I don't spend a lot of time whining about all my aches and pains and stuff. But to tell this funny story, I kind of have to a little bit. So I have something that's called frozen shoulder. It's adhesive something or another. But anyway, I can use my shoulder, and actually using my shoulder is good for it. But it kind of hurts sometimes, right? So, and I got a bad knee, and it's fine until I'm getting up and down, which is what you're doing when you're working on a car. So because of my shoulder and my knee and all that, I'm moving kind of slow right now when I work on stuff. I'll work on something for a while and I'll take a break. Okay, so I started working on this. I did the rear shock on this side and put it all back together. And I thought, I'm going to take a break, before I start doing the other side. And so I cleaned it up, and that's why I wasn't going to put it on the stand. Let me see if I can turn around so you can see. I've got this. It's not going to work. I've got a sink here in my garage, right? That I wash my hands and everything with the fancy orange soap that everybody is familiar with. So I get all cleaned up to go in the house, and so I go in there, and you may or may not have noticed I walk around barefoot out here, and so I realized once I walked in the house, I'm on the tile. I realized I had been sitting on the ground, cross-legged, and the bottom edge of my feet were just black with grease from working. The rotator cuff, I actually thought it was torn, and so I was like real delicate with my shoulder. I didn't want to injure it worse. So I actually went to the doctor, and they did x-rays and everything. They said, no, that's fine. You got all your strength and everything. And they said it was like I said, it's adhesive, something or another, frozen shoulder. And it's common. I'm a diabetic. It's common with diabetics. And it goes away eventually on its own if you work it and use it. So it's not a big deal. But anyway, so I saw my feet were all dirty, so I thought, well, I'm gonna have to take the camera off of here to tell this story. So here's my sink that I wash my hands and stuff, and I thought, well, I need this orange soap. I don't want to traipse through the house too much. How am I going to wash my feet off? The outer edge of my feet, since I walk around barefoot. So I had this bright idea. Well, I'll stand up on this black step stool and put one foot in the sink and wash my feet off. And so I did 1 foot at a time, and it worked fine, worked great. And then when I stepped off of the step stool, this floor is pretty slick, and my feet were wet. And so I fell on my rear end and I guess bruised my tailbone. So that slowed me down even more. So I wound up powering through and doing the other rear shock. But it was after that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna wait. And so um, when I finish that, car ride's a lot better just doing the rear ones, but I still need to do the front. So that's what I plan on doing this weekend. I don't know if anybody has this same problem, but sometimes I struggle to get started. If I start this, it's not that difficult to do. Probably won't take me all that long to do it, but it's just tough to get started. I've got so much. Let's see that thing. Okay, is it on? Yeah. Never can get this set just the way I want it. But, I guess that's why I'm not a professional at this. So anyway, like I said, I don't think I'm gonna try to stream myself doing this work. Just only because I think it would be incredibly boring for anybody watching. but I just, like I said, I feel like I left a cliffhanger last time, so I wanted to kind of wrap that up and tell everybody what happened. Yeah. So I guess, do I want to talk about the movement? As I said, I'm 100% on board. I'm sorry. I'm sad that I missed Mag Americans and Santa doing their live stream last night. I kind of watched it in fast forward this morning, and it was a pretty good one. I wish I could have participated in the comments and the chat last night, but I understand. I totally get that it takes a while for all the stuff they're doing and to get things up and running and all the different pieces put in place. But I'm sure everybody feels the same way. It's when you're used to action every night and every day. It's hard to wait. So I want to help them. Yeah, it takes a bit to finish everything you start. Yeah, I'm just my nature is I'm pretty good at getting things functional, but I'm not great at making things pretty. So when I do projects, if it's like fixing something around the house, say I need to replace a board or something, I'll replace the board, but it takes me forever before I get motivated to paint it. So that's I have a lot of unfinished things, but like with this thing, there's not anything about making it pretty. I just gotta get it done. But like I said, I'm just stalling, getting started because one thing I didn't mention is this. I don't know if will it follow me over here. Okay, yeah. So before I even started that, I pulled the car out. And I was getting started, and then I saw this thing was still in a box. I had bought this a long time ago because when I start working on projects in the garage, I'll get tools out to work, and then I'll set something down, and my tools wind up everywhere, and I'm bad at putting them away, so I wind up losing stuff, and it's all bad. So I just started, and I got tools out, and 5 minutes in, I'm like, my tools are already in the way. So I decided to pull the car back out and build this thing. So it took me, I don't know, at least an hour, if not a couple hours, to build this thing. But I'm glad I did, because when I work on my tool, all the tools I'm working with, you can see they're still kind of a mess here, but at least they're all in one place. And when I get done with them, I can put them. I mean, I have toolboxes where my tools go, but this is mobile and right at hand, and so I bought it 6 months ago. I just never built it, so I went ahead and built that. So that kind of took some time too, but I think that was really helpful when I was working on it. So that was good. So anyway, like I said, I just want to give an update. I could stand here and talk politics. I don't know if you saw the title. Joe Biden got on stage and said, "I got 2 words: Made in America." It just seems so representative of what we've got running the country right now, and it's sad. Um, I'm talented. I don't know if I'm talented. I think I know just enough to be dangerous on cars and stuff. Uh, I know my limitations. You won't ever see me pulling an engine out of a car or anything like that. But handful of nuts and bolts, I can do that kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly. 3 words. Yeah, you can't. You hear that coming from our president and go, okay, that just kind of sums up the entire administration, right? You can't even count 3 words. So it makes me sad, but yeah, I mean, anyway, I could stand and yammer, but I have a feeling it would be pretty boring. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I know I'm not a big name streamer. I would Resident. He's nowhere near. I agree with that. If you want to talk politics, I don't know if you're a fan of Charlie Kirk. I've been watching him lately. He's got a show he does in the middle of the day, and I think he's got some really good ideas. He way before it was leaked in the press. He, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I don't know how long ago it was, he said, I think that Hunter is going to be indicted in December. They want to wait until after the election, but they want to use that as a way to pressure Joe into not running again. They want to use that, and they know that if the Republicans get in, they're going to be under a lot of scrutiny and investigations and all that, and so they want to be able to say, "Look, we indicted a Hunter, so that means we're fair when we're raiding President Trump's house." So I thought that was insightful, and a week and a half after he said that, here they are leaking that they have enough to indict Hunter. So I think they're probably going to wait until after the election to see if they need to, and if we elect more Democrats, they probably won't get indicted. But if we elect a bunch of Republicans, they might do it just for that reason, on simple stuff less than what he should be indicted for. And the other thing that Charlie Kirk said that I really thought was a good idea. There's a lot of talk about, okay, if we take back the House and the Senate, what do we do? There's a lot of policy stuff we can do, but what do we do in terms of investigations and people are tossing around impeachment? Oh yeah, what they did to Trump, people really should be in jail for that. I mean, that's what we need to get to. And the most frustrating thing is, as well as I do, they'll have a bunch of investigations, and even if they do that, probably nothing will ever come of it. But somebody really needs to be held accountable for that, for destroying our justice system, destroying agencies like the FBI, which who knows how long they've been corrupt, but they're definitely corrupt now. So I hope they do. But anyway, Charlie Kirk's strategy was, people are talking about impeachment, and believe me, there's plenty to impeach Joe Biden, but that kind of gives the appearance of retribution, or hey, we're picking on an old man, or those kinds of things. But his idea was, let's start impeaching Christopher Wray and Merrick Garland and Mayorkas and all of the, the people who have let the border go, the corruption in the FBI and the Department of Justice, and he listed off 4 or 5 of them, and said if we get about 5 impeachment, and we can do them all at the same time, if we get about 5 of those going, and not necessarily Joe Biden, that's where we really start breaking down the administrative state and taking down all of the bureaucracy, all of the unelected mess that's kind of the root of a lot of these problems. So I thought that was a really interesting idea, and I like it. Now, will they do that? I don't know. You never know. I think we've got some good people that can do a lot of things, but I think we also have the roadblocks of Mitch McConnell and, sadly to say, Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy talks a good game right now, but I have very little faith in him actually doing anything. So I think it's going to take a long time for us to have enough turnover that we get people that are willing to actually make some changes. So he can't be unseated until he's been in for 2 years, so charging Hunter for his crimes has to be dragged out until after January. Yeah. There's a lot of things that happen in Washington, D.C. don't make sense to normal people. I mean, it seems like when you have such a corrupt place, and I'm not just talking about the Bidens, because I mean they're downright treasonous, but even all of the FBI and the whole swamp. You look at that and go, that's not the world I grew up in. Was I really that sheltered or naive? And hang on. What's up?
Oh, shoot. Am I interrupting this? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll be interested.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my wife. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, it seems a little silly that they act like that. But then going, and you see all that on TV, and you say, well, are they overemphasizing it on TV, and then actually going there and seeing the law enforcement the way they treated us? I'm standing there speaking to law enforcement, watching elderly people be attacked at 2:00 in the morning, and law enforcement just shrugs and does nothing, yet will arrest one of us at the drop of a hat. It's sad. And then you watch all the J6 stuff and the vigils there every night, and it's what do we do, right? And I'm hoping this movement, I think it'll take a couple of years for this movement to get big enough, but I'm really, I talked to Santa a little bit while I was down there, and had some similar ideas to what they're doing now, which is kind of spread out and hold all of the representatives accountable. I think if we spend the time and build the organization, and I think we need actual employees and stuff, I think we'll get to a point that it'll be a real organization. So hopefully all that'll happen. But she's pretty. Thank you. She's very supportive. So anyway, I guess I'm gonna get off of here and actually do some work rather than just standing around yammering. But thanks for hanging around with me, and I'll see you on the other streams as well, and we'll keep at it, and one of these days we'll make a difference. But don't know when I'll be back on, but when I either have something to say, or I don't know, maybe I'll give a status update if I ever get the work done on this car. But anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Don't run away.